Oh, well, hello, my wonderful broskies of the Maverick Nation. Broskies and broskies of the Maverick Nation. I am the Dark Shadow Maverick, and this is part freaking 6. I think this and the Akira What If are like the ones that are with that are still ongoing that have the most parts. Because there are others, or maybe an other, that have more parts than this, but aren't going on anymore. Like this one and the Ukuro What If, which once part 12 is done of that, it will officially be over. At least that's what I'm saying for now. But this isn't that What If. This What If is a What If that has challenged me a great deal on what my beliefs were that I was going to be able to do. Like, just how hardcore could I make this? Like how deep could I go in? Like, what subjects could I tackle and could I not tackle? Like, what was going too far and what was not going too far? It has challenged me in so many different ways. This What If. And that is kind of part of the many reasons why I like doing this. And What If so much. Just the challenging aspect. It's not like an infuriating challenge. It's like a kind of like a Where's Waldo challenge, where like you have these pieces and there's like pieces missing, and you gotta figure out where they go. It's kind of like you know a puzzle in that way. You know, you have what is needed, you just have to put it in the right place. I have what is needed. I already have all the tools. I have everything that's needed. I just need to figure out how to sort my shit out whenever I do this. Cuz like I said, I wasn't going to go into freaking yandere freaking smut territory like the freaking Twilight movies. And I think other Twilight books too. Anyways, I'm not going freaking Twilight smut like that crazy freaking yaoi hentai bullshit. No. Frick no. And once again, vampires do not freaking sparkle. They do not freaking sparkle. And you can fight me over that because they don't freaking sparkle. Anyways, this is gonna be, I believe, part 6 of What If BakuDeku. And you guys may be wondering, what am I gonna do next? What the hell is there to do next? Like, what's my Grandmaster plan for this part? Actually, I have several Grandmaster plans that are going to be unfolding for this little trinket of a part we have here. I mean, whenever it comes to BakuDeku, I always like to bring my A game of my A game of that A game of my A game. And it's like a triple threat feature. You never know what you're gonna get until you get it. And now to actually get into the freaking story and stop stalling. I'm just gonna say that after both Izuku and Bakugo have figured out everything, there is like some speculation that's actually kind of thrown out there. Like, Bakugo knows that Izuku's probably been with the League of Villains for more than one day, and that probably means that she slept over there. Now, Bakugo's probably just like, if this is true, and Shigaraki's trying to mess with me, trying to mess with my shit, would he indeed try to screw her? Try to screw Izuku? Is that something that he's willing to do in order to mess with me, mess with my shit? And he ends up figuring out from Izuku, because good Izuku or bad Izuku, they both have the same memories. That's kind of a thing. Like, you come from one source, you're gonna have the same memories as the other half, as the other 50%. So Izuku would have the memories of that one moment where, Shigaraki was just there at the other side of the bed, and he would just be like, "Morning, honey," because remember, that did happen in one of the parts of the What If. Only he was saying it in more of an asinine way. And so Bakugo would just be like, what the absolute, he would kinda not know what to think. Except for the fact that, okay, now there's a high possibility in like both ways. Like, should I tell Inko and my mom and my dad? Should I tell them about the possibility that they're like the villains could also be involved in this? Like, most likely Shigaraki. Like, should I say? Like, should I? Like, is that a good decision to make? Is that the right decision to make? Like, should I consult Izuku before I do any of this shit? But if I try to consult her about this, she's probably gonna say no. And, you know, basically just leaving my family, because basically he considers Inko a part of his family, because basically now that's kind of how it's sitting on. That's kind of what it's sitting on. Even though they're not married yet, it's kind of what it's sitting on. Is them being family. I mean, come on, Bakugo screwed Inko's freaking daughter and got her freaking knocked up. What the frick do you think it's going to end up like? And Bakugo is basically, you know, he's just like, shit. Well, I guess there's really only one thing I can do to solve this situation, to get this shit straightened out. Uh, and so he just decides to show up and, start a mano-y-mano with the asshole who started it all. He's just like, Shigaraki, like Tomura Shigaraki, you, me, around this time, this area. He's like, final stand down, standoff, whatever the frick they call it in the westerns, the old timey westerns. Just final last hurrah for these two. I'm not exactly going to say gentlemen, because that is a freaking flat out lie. Or at least whenever concerning their freaking rivalry that's been all throughout this what if. A deathmatch style rivalry. And so basically, Shigaraki shows up, and, you know, Bakugo's there, too, and they just stare at each other. But there's a certain thing. Shigaraki didn't come alone. He brought evil Izuku with him. And whenever Shigaraki sees that, Bakugo doesn't have the good Izuku with him, he can only start to speculate things. But, you know, considering the way Bakugo said certain things, the way he was whenever he gave out the message, oh, Shigaraki, he is thinking some things. Some stuff and some things. He's basically just like, ooh, I bet that's what it is. You figured it out. From all the time she spent with us. Whenever she was turned. Yes. Yes, indeed. While she may have not have had the whole rule of consent, then again, we are the villains. And Bakugo is just like, you freaking... You freaking R-word. You freaking sick, sadistic mother frickin' R-word. I'm gonna kill you. How dare you do that to her? How dare you do that to the one and only person I can truly say I ever loved? How dare you? How in the hell? I know you're gonna pay for this. You understand me, Tomura Shigaraki? I'm gonna make you pay in your own damn blood! And he charges straight after Shigaraki. But the evil Izuku gets in front of him, and then the good Izuku starts showing up, and Bakugo starts saying some shit about the fact that she's kind of pregnant, and so she shouldn't be in the midst of a battlefield. And so basically, then we have good Izuku explaining that, the baby bump stuff hasn't really started showing yet. Plus, she's gonna be damned before she lets Bakugo settle things with both Shigaraki and this imitator. And evil Izuku takes the whole imitator thing about as well as you're gonna be able to take it. If Sonic Adventure 2 / Sonic Adventure 2 Battle has taught us anything, it's that you don't call other people imitators. They don't take that very well. Well, at least a certain type of people don't take that very well. And that certain type of people would be called edgelords and prima donnas. And, the combination of the two, edgelord prima donnas. Edgelord prima donnas. Which is basically what Evil Izuku is. And so Evil Izuku goes to throw down, layeth the smackdown. And she even mentions that seeing as the whole thing with Shigaraki and now freaking Bakugo, this won't even be his complete seed. It will have part of Shigaraki in it. The child, whatever gender, whatever, however they look, whatever their gender is, like, it will still be part Shigaraki. Yeah, he'll basically have that to deal with. It will always be something that stares back into his face. His failure as anything, to be honest. His just failure as a person. And Bakugo at this point has just had enough. And, he's like, I can't let this happen. I'm not gonna let you do this. I've had enough. And so he just goes to like shield Goodizuku. And then Badizuku goes like even further to like, she's like, Shigaraki now. And Shigaraki basically just breakdance sweeps Bakugo off his feet to kind of like knock the wind out of him by like him landing on his spinal cord. And so yeah, then the wind is knocked out of him for quite some time, and Shigaraki's just standing there over him, and it's just like kind of chuckling to himself and chuckling at Bakugo, just for all the wrong reasons. And then like Goodizuku and Badizuku, they're like total catfight, but like Goodizuku is like weak, like weakened because of the whole, thing that's going on. And, Evil Izuku is just taking full advantage. And, like, finally, whenever they get down to a certain point, like, Evil Izuku gets Good Izuku, like, basically stuck to a giant rock, like, pinned to a giant rock. And, basically just like Evil Izuku has like a good sized sharp rock, like the kind of rocks you would use for like the pointy ends of spears, like a good sized rock that's like the shape of that. And she basically like Good Izuku is pinned to like a rock basically. She can't really move all that well, until she's basically just stuck there. And then all of a sudden, her eyes widen as she just sees basically Evil Izuku is charging, and now she's leaping forward, and all of a sudden, crack! Like, whenever Bakugo gets up, like, he's kind of weirded out because Shigaraki isn't doing anything to stop him. And by the time he actually gets to where both Good and Evil Izuku are, he sees why. Good Izuku, as far as he's concerned, like the mental image that's being put into his head, yeah. Whenever your skull's caved in that much, like someone's leaping with like a spear edged rock and they just ram it into your face so hard that your skull's caved in, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're dead. And, Bakugo is just looking at that image. That's the only thing he can see. And he's just broken. And then Evil Izuku, like, looks over at Bakugo and just walks towards him and picks him up and just has her hand on his cheek. Bakugo is just still, like, in this trance mode, like, completely stunned, unable to move. And, Evil Izuku just whispers into his ear, did you really think she was going to be good enough? You're pathetic, Katsuki Bakugo. pathetic. Which is why you don't deserve to live. The only thing you deserve is a remotely painless death. Yes. And she just puts one hand in front of his chest. Yes. Now, your heart. And right as, like, basically she's gonna shove her hand through his chest, right as that's about to happen, basically, evil Izuku and, Shigaraki, because he's about to get down there, they both hear something. Oh, is that so? Basically, Shigaraki and evil Izuku, they both hear, oh, is that so? You want to kill them both? Well, that's just sad. They had such beautiful love, and I'm sure regardless of how the child turned out, they would still love whatever the child was, or children. They would still love them the same. And that is why I can't let you go any farther with your little games, you filthy scum of the earth. Now, this is the end for you, Rattle Serpiente. And then just all of a sudden, like, a green light fills the area, and then the next thing that anyone else is able to see, like anyone else that could have possibly been there is able to see, like, Shigaraki's a bloody mess, and the only thing that he's able to see, if he's even conscious, is the fact that basically evil Izuku has been turned into a blood sprinkler. And this is all because of some random ass person who has a sword. And he's just like, no need to thank me. I hate such filth that feels so entitled to their way of doing things. However, I cannot stay here, as this is not my place. This is far from my place. You two, the two of you, Katsuki Bakugo, and Izuku Midoriya. I will bring life back into you. Coil Serpiente. And then the next thing that's seen is another green flash of light. And then all of a sudden, whenever Bakugo wakes up, he's just there, but all of a sudden he sees, basically, he also sees, but he also hears, he sees someone shaking him, and he hears, it's like, Bakugo, Bakugo, Kachan, Kachan, are you awake? And Kachan is like, freaking Bakugo is just like, well, now I am. Who, what, when, where, why? What's going on? Uh, Izuku, you're alive? And Izuku's just like, I'm surprised to see you alive too. I thought you would have been dead as well. And I'm not so sure about, well, and then the person is just like, the whole thing about your child, or as it would be more accurately confirmed, children. The whole ordeal with Shigaraki Tomura, or Tomura Shigaraki, that is just a minor setback. I don't think that if you were really good parents, you would let that get in the way of you know what. And Izuku is just like, so it's true. And Bakugo's just like, Izuku, that doesn't matter. And Izuku's just like, what? And Bakugo's like, you heard what I said, that doesn't matter. Besides, he's gone. He won't be able to bother us anymore. I just hope that. Never mind. And then this weird person who's been helping them is just like, that's the spirit. Well, at least enough for now. And as for knowing my name is not important as of now. As of now, it is merely enough that I assisted you in not ending up dead. And also in getting sweet revenge. Ah, yes. And as for the whole more than one thing, and if I were to know how long, well, as for the length, you and that Bakugo fellow, it will be very soon. Very soon indeed. And as for the other thing I said, well, don't worry. That is just another hurdle you'll have to overcome. Isn't that right, my friends? And Bakugo is just like, so soon and more than one? Uh, this is. This is. This is insane. However, I can't let this beat me down. I'm not gonna let some weird ass premonition bullshit beat me down like that. I'm gonna be the best damn parent Izuku's kids would ever need. And Izuku would be like, Kachan, there are kids. And as for this whole premonition stuff, let's just take it easy for now. And as for anything else, and then they just see that the person disappeared, but they kind of left a note. And the only thing that's said on the note is names. Like, literally, that's the only word, is just names. And Bakugo and Izuku are just like, oh shit, that's right. If it's going to be soon, then we need to figure out names. Damn it. And Izuku's just like, well, why don't one of us figure out a name for one of our kids and the other one figure out a name for the other one? And Bakugo's like, that's just about what I was going to say. I guess that would indeed make sense. Uh, uh, huh. Well, okay, for one of the names that I'm about to say, it's actually kind of a spin on the Hado, that's Hado number 4, Byakurai. And, it's kind of also a spin on the name of the Pokemon Darkrai. The name that Bakugo mentions is Bakurai. You see, it's not Byakurai, it's Bakurai. Like Bakugo, but instead it's Bakurai. Like Rai, as like Darkrai. Basically, Darkrai's name in Japanese means dark, dark. Yeah, yeah, I am not shitting you. I am not shitting any of you, audience. That is literally Darkrai's Japanese name. Dark, dark. Which is absolutely hilarious. And as for the name that Izuku comes up with, uh, hmm. Well, considering Bakurai, that was kind of part of Bakugo's name. And I guess the other kid would be like, have a part of Izuku's name. Actually, I think to make it kind of like a similarity, besides, the similarity of it being like a spin of the name of their parents. I like the other similarity would be at the end of their name, at the end of their first name, it would be Rai. The last syllable would be Rai. And so basically the kid that Izuku names, their name is going to be basically the first two syllables of the kid that Bakugo names is Bakurai, like Baku for Bakurai. And so basically it's going to be the first two syllables of Izuku's name, which is Izu. And so the kid is going to be Izurai. So yeah, Bakurai and Izurai. Yeah, I kind of, I kind of just, found those swimming in my head. I found Bakurai swimming in my head, and just from the tail end of that, and somewhere on afterwards, I kind of figured out Izurai. And as for who's older, as like in terms of who comes out first, I'm gonna say that they both come out at the same time. Yes, I am not shitting you. Or we could do a thing where, like, the superiority complex that Bakugo has, that Bakurai might have, you know, would come from the fact that he came out first. Or, I'm trying to think, like, if I should pull an Elsa and Anna thing and have them both be girls, or both be boys. Wow, a Frozen reference. Didn't think I was ever gonna do that in one of my videos. Shit. Actually, I think I may do that. Have them both be girls. Yes, that would be interesting to experiment with. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have them both be girls whenever it eventually happens. And eventually it is going to happen, and it happens, you know, right about now. Like, Izuku and Bakugo are like 15, so it would be like a few months because that's how pregnancy usually works. So it would be like, and they've already had some time to develop a relationship, so like around sometime after like the whole 16th birthday for the both of them, both of their 16th birthdays, like sometime after that, like it would happen that, everything involving the birth of the two children, Bakurai and Izurai, and the whole thing. I'm gonna say that in terms of personality and everything else wise, you know, uh, Bakurai, I'm going to have seeing as it's kind of a play off of Bakugo's name, I'm gonna have Bakurai being the one with the blonde hair. Actually, wait, no, no. I want to try something. I want to try some. Yeah, it's gonna have like the Bakurai is gonna have blonde hair, but there's gonna be a thing with Izurai. Now, seeing as Shigaraki did indeed get involved with the relationship, Izurai is indeed going to have something that shows that. And what I mean by that is like uh I don't know really how to tie this in with her character, but I guess we could have it as a defect that only happens whenever, Izurai gets really emotional. I guess we could have it as a defect. And, like, whenever Izurai is starting to cry because, Bakurai is starting to have a hissy fit, and that would make Izurai cry, and, that's whenever the defect would start to show. The defect is basically like Izurai normally has like the Izuku hair color, like the whole green hair color. But whenever the defect happens, it starts to change to Shigaraki's hair color. And if you guys are wondering, Bakurai has amber colored eyes, and Izurai has green colored eyes, but their color does not change, only the hair color changes. And that's only due to, like I said, the defect of getting like really emotional. It like the defect only happens whenever Izurai gets really emotional. And like the more emotional Izurai gets, the more of the hair of her hair will become like Shigaraki's hair in like color. And as for quirks or no quirk, I'm gonna say that Bakurai would indeed have the explosion quirk. She would inherit it from her father. And as for Izurai, I'm going to say that something about Izurai and Bakurai is that they both inherit the quirk from, their father. However, whenever the whole defect happens with Izurai, whenever the defect happens, she loses her ability to use the explosion quirk. So that's why, Izuku is thinking of possibly passing One for All onto her just in case, like, there's ever a situation where, like, the defect happens and, like, freaking Izuku isn't able to, like, do something because, All Might passed it on to Izuku, and so logically, sooner or later, Izuku's gonna have to pass it on to, like, one of their children, one of their and Bakugo's children. And, Bakurai already has the explosion quirk. However, Izurai, like I said, loses the explosion quirk whenever they have, like, the defect happen. And that's only whenever they're really freaking emotional, like temper tantrum, like losing their shit levels of emotional. And that's also whenever their hair color, like, changes to more of a Shigaraki style hair color. However, like I said, the color of the eyes don't change. They still stay green. And, seeing as Bakurai does not have a defect, the eyes are always going to be amber colored. And that's basically, the whole quirk situation for the two kids, Bakurai and Izurai. However, they don't have their quirks yet because, they've just been born. So they could already have their quirks, but, like, it's not the quirk doctor visit yet because they have to wait till they're like 4 or 5 in order to get to the quirk, do the whole quirk doctor visit thing. And I may change something up, like in a later part, like in like part 7. I may change something to where, like, maybe they don't have quirks, or maybe I change something up. But I do plan to have the whole defect thing where Izurai's colors of her hair, like the color of her hair, changes. I am not removing the defect because that is something I feel is integral to Izurai's character. If you guys don't have any idea why I think it's integral, then that's just you guys not understanding how I work, on my mind works. Anyways, so yes, basically they don't have their quirks yet, or if they do, it hasn't showed up. They still have to have that visit to the quirk doctor whenever they eventually turn like 4 or 5. I'm gonna say 5 because, the whole thing about 10 years of bullying that Izuku was talking about. So I'm gonna say like around 4 or 5 ish. And that's whenever they would eventually have their own visit to the Cork Doctor. And I'm gonna say around, like, somewhere around the time that, like, these kids are born, Bakurai and Izurai, that, like, Bakugo would eventually confess that he is head over heels in love. Like, beyond that, he is in LOVE, straight in that. And so, yes, they would indeed get married. And it would be insane. Especially, like, I think it's called the reception, like, or like some sort of after party, like the whole entire thing would just be crazy because I don't think many people of Class 1A would expect this to happen. You know, I mean, at one time Bakugo hated Deku, and now this time Bakugo's freaking beyond head over heels for Deku. So yeah. And plus they have children. 2 children. They're practically freaking twins. And how adorable they are. And if you guys are wondering if I'm going to have Bakurai, like, not like Izurai, like, kind of have, like, that situation with, like, Bakugo and Izuku, like, where, like, Bakurai just doesn't like Izurai. I may experiment with that. I'm not sure yet. I mean, I'm still developing their characters. I'm still developing the characters of every, like, I'm still trying to get character development in. I mean, just let me do this on my own damn pace. Like, I just now introduced these 2 characters and, like, their whole thing. I'm a frick, and I'm not even completely sure on some things about them. So just just let me go at my own pace, okay, guys? That is probably where I will be doing my best, is whenever I'm able to go at my own pace. That is probably where I'm going to do my best. And you guys want me to do my best, right? You guys want me to be at my 100%, like 100 million% smash this whole entire thing? Like, not in the way of, like, getting rid of the what if, in the way of, like, smash, like lemon smash. So, like, improving it, improving upon it, you know, continuing the story, and as I continue it, I keep on making it better and better. You know, I feel like we have a narrative that we're going on with, and we're making a good story. We're making we have a good narrative going on. So that's what I think, and I think if that is to continue to happen, I need to be at my 100 million% smash level at all times. Every time I make this what if. So yeah, if I'm to do my best, you guys got to be here with me. So yeah, never forget, smash that like button. Okay, I think I ruined it. Oh god. Oh, sweet home Alabama. I'm coming home to you. Oh god, certain jokes I just shouldn't make on the internet. What have I done? Anyways, I'm doing it just because the next time I remember because I reach out. Yeah, boys. Bye.